Hello and welcome to Astrology Said So, the newest astrology podcast. We need to come up with like a tagline for ourselves, don't we?
We do.
Yeah. We
We
have
do.
we have like a fancy new logo and we have a new name, but I completely spaced on the tagline.
But the thing is that the fancy logo and the fancy name is like half the battle.
Exactly.
The rest of the battle is like actually doing it, right?
Yeah. And here we are doing it.
We showed up.
Yeah. I'm Camille, obviously. I think my followers probably know that by now. And this is Jenny.
Hello.
And this is our new little adventure, our astrology adventure that we ventured into last Monday. And now we're really going for it, right?
Yeah. We decided to actually be semi-serious about something, and it was astrology, and it was us like having fun with it. So let's be serious about having fun.
Yes. And
There's
that's
no
actually
time.
that's a great sort of segue because today we are talking about the Venus Jupiter conjunction, the big conjunction of 2026. And it is about like having fun and feeling good and lavish
Being
enjoyment,
fun and flirty and fluffy.
pleasure, and
Fluffy.
yeah, fluffy, just like the pink microphone. That feels very like that just feels like the image that comes to mind when you think of like Venus, Jupiter in Cancer, because Cancer has this kind of light pastel quality to it, you know?
She does. And whenever I think of Venus in Cancer, it's
Mhm.
always it without it, there. It's always like a feather bed.
Yes.
It's always soft, and there's like a down duvet comforter,
Oh,
and it's
definitely.
luxurious, and you've sunk into the middle of it.
Yes. Oh, you just described my dream. Like I have Venus in Cancer and my partner is like, "How many more pillows do you need?"
Don't worry about it.
They're not decorative too. They're
At
they're like,
least
I have one over here, I have one over here, you know. I've been like that since I was a kid too. I My mom used to say I nested because I would just be like making beds.
yeah. I need to feel comfy. I need to feel safe and secure and
Right.
um, comfortable.
Yeah.
If
That's
there's a
like
threat coming at me, I'm not gonna feel good.
right. I'm not gonna feel like with like my cup is full to be able to handle it.
Yeah.
And that's part of the vibe of this Venus Jupiter conjunction. I want us to be able to talk about like Venus and Jupiter and why it's such a big deal that it's coming together. And if you have already heard, maybe not from me or maybe from me or from Jenny, that this conjunction is happening on June 9th. And there's a lot of kind of buzz in the astrology community around this transit because it looks to be so good. Like, when you have Venus and Jupiter coming together, it's like, it is like that feather bed and just, like, pillows everywhere, just it's a day for that.
I thought you were gonna say because of Taylor Swift.
That was the other thing I looked up, they got engaged on that day.
They got together under Venus Jupiter. They got engaged under Venus Jupiter.
Mm.
They're getting married under Venus Jupiter, from what I understand.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh?
So that is a very trailer
What's very funny about that
thing.
too? Like,
Hmm.
funny not in ha-ha way, but, um, Travis Kelce's a Libra and Taylor Swift is a Sagittarius, and so Venus and Jupiter.
Look at you knowing stuff right off the top of your head.
Actually,
I honestly never.
I'm more embarrassed that I know that. It's not something
No, you got your thumb on the pulse of what's supposed to be going on around here. Me, I'm just kind of like, that one song was all right a couple years ago, but it's Opalite.
well, they both act like their signs, I guess we'll say that. But
Yeah.
yeah, that I'm glad you brought that up because that happened the last year when Venus conjoined Jupiter in Cancer. And so, like, a lot of astrologers are saying, like, it's a once every 12-year thing, and it's true to an extent,
Mhm.
but we did have it last year. So it's kind of like once, maybe twice a Jupiter transit, but it
Yeah,
doesn't
it's all
happen.
in the timing.
Yeah, exactly, and it doesn't happen in like, it's only gonna happen once every 12 years in this sign, in Cancer, because Jupiter's going to leave Cancer at the end of June, and so it's like we're actually whatever we were doing, whatever seed we were planting, whatever, like, lovely thing that we were encountering, if there was one, on August 12th, 2025, it is kind of moving towards something, right? This conjunction that we have on June 9th is happening at 25 degrees Cancer.
Yeah, 25 Cancer. I just wanted to take a real quick second to talk about how beautiful your hair looks. Like you're in full Leo mode right now,
I just
and
did my hair.
you look great. It looks
Thank
like
you.
this is major Leo vibes coming off of your hair right now. And I think actually, we do have Venus moving into Leo,
Mhm.
but you know, going back to Venus in Cancer really just like if you don't look good, you're not going to feel good. And I feel like that is a total Venus in Cancer thing. Like if I can put my makeup on, if I can get my hair done, if I can do the whole thing, and like if I can fake it, I can make it.
Yeah,
And that's
100.
yeah, that's it's pretty much as it can as Venus in Cancer as it can get. I think.
The way
Um,
that I think about it, and thank you for the hair compliment. I mentioned that I didn't have time to do research is because I had to do my hair. I had to
Priorities, babe.
search. I was
Priorities, babe.
like, the hot
I get
rollers
it.
are ready. No, but, like, to your point of Venus in Cancer, like, if I don't look good, I don't feel good. It's like armor.
Yeah,
The hair, the
yeah,
makeup, it's, like, kind of this type of protection of
yeah.
like, we think of the crab having that shell, like, that's how it's always been for me, makeup and hair and stuff. It's always been kinda like war paint.
The way that I like teaching astrology is through a analogy of the theater.
Mm,
And I always kind of consider like any Venusian thing, like hair, makeup, all of that stuff. It's like literally putting on a costume,
right.
literally putting on your face and saying, okay, like I'm getting in character.
Mhm.
That's it. And I think, especially for someone with a Leo rising, that makes so much sense because it's the performer. Like they
Yeah,
have to look the part, bro.
right.
If I look good and I sound good, what I say doesn't matter. That's a JFK thing.
That's so true, and it's for me, I have Cancer in the 12th house, so it's like I never let people see that process of me
Right.
kind of it's like the behind the scenes, like the green room before the performance. It's like, "Okay, I need
So you're not going to be doing any get ready with me's?
oh, not my vibe."
Okay. Okay. Um,
Um, but yeah,
so
so go ahead.
I was just going to say, so some of the significations that we can expect with Venus is stuff like love, relationships, beauty. I always associate it with wealth and not the actual money,
Mhm.
like the cold hard cash. That's more mercurial, but it's how we're spending.
Right.
And Venus in Cancer spends emotionally. If
Yes,
we are feeling down in the dumps, hey, guess what? We're going to retail therapy.
that's
If
true, and then we'll
we,
feel guilty about it
right,
because we'll be
which
like, "I
is
spent
so
how
funny,
much?" It's like, "Oh, no."
but it felt so good in the moment.
Yeah.
So, you know, um, it's very, uh, well, in Cancer, I was going to say it's flirty and fun, but the way it's flirty and fun is like inviting someone over to your house and cooking for them. It's very down to earth, right?
Yeah. You're just
We're
describing everything that I just love. I mean, I love eating. More than, like, cooking the food. I'm like, "Please make me a home cooked meal."
Yeah, baby me. Baby me. We talked the last episode we talked about being your crybaby bitch.
Yeah.
And there's like some relevance to that, even if we're not being so derogatory about it. It's very like, I need to be held.
Right.
And it's not for being emotionally fragile because I don't think Venus in Cancer is emotionally fragile. I
Mhm.
think it can be very uncertain and it
Yeah,
just needs reassurance. It needs to have its hand held.
yeah.
So all of us have been dealing with that on some level
Mhm.
since Venus entered Cancer on May 18th.
That's right, it was the 18th, yeah.
And then it will move into Leo
June 3rd.
on June 13th. Yeah. But the conjunction happens on June 9th.
Mhm.
So, what do we think is going to happen when Big Daddy Jupiter shows up with a bottle of something a lot more fun than this.
Well, I mean, let's talk a little bit about Jupiter. And hi, Miranda. I want to answer that question as we get to that portion of it, because we are going to be talking about how this Venus Jupiter conjunction impacts us sort of collectively, culturally, and then us personally. So if you are able to stay along for this ride, that would be lovely. But I was listening to the Astrology of the Week Ahead podcast, Channy's podcast.
Mhm.
And one of the things that she said about this conjunction, speaking to Jupiter, Cancer is ruled by the moon, right? So we have both Venus in Cancer and Jupiter in Cancer. And she mentioned how this astrology is really good for growing local. Like if
Yeah.
Jupiter in Cancer, nurturing local, nurturing communities, nurturing neighbors,
Mhm.
fostering that kind of emotional connection, having that empathy for one another, like in our sort of closer net, not necessarily the wider, um, expanse that we normally associate with Jupiter. I thought that was interesting. And the reason that she gave for explaining this was because again, the moon rules Cancer, and the moon is the closest celestial body to the earth. It's the thing closest to us. It's the most local body to us. And so it's thinking about, growth and nurturing and that collective expansion happening on that local level. And she mentioned or she cited Minneapolis, right? What was happening early on in February. And generally what has happened since ICE really took to the streets and what an impact that has had on local communities and how it spurred a lot of people into action to care for their neighbors, to be like,
Right.
"No, this isn't what we want." This isn't the kind of stuff that we want to stand for in the United States. And I just thought that was an interesting facet to think about because
Yeah.
we have seen that with Jupiter and Cancer. Jupiter is that planet of expansion and, abundance, but it's like the thing that we are growing. And what was it, last June, like June 30th or something, it entered Cancer, right? Because it stays in a sign for about a year.
Mhm.
And so it's telling us, okay, this is the thing that we are magnifying. This is a thing that is growing in importance, at least collectively.
Mhm.
And this is again, since Jupiter is like the planet of wisdom, I think it's also kind of where we're learning wisdom, but also it's not like teaching us the same kind of lessons that Saturn's going to be teaching us, but it's expanding the importance of a specific type of issue. And in Cancer, that issue has been the local domestic attacks on humanity, we will say.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I think you touched on a really interesting facet of that because one of the bigger significations to cancer for me is the idea of safety, safety, and cancer
Protect.
tends to protection, right? And it tends to withdraw. So when Jupiter entered Cancer, I noticed that all of a sudden it seemed like on a national level, all of a sudden we had our it's like we all put our signs up,
Yeah.
like our pokers, like a porcupine. Um, and then we get involved with wars where that involves defense.
Mhm.
And it
Oh,
seems like
yeah.
the current administration is really about offense being a good defense.
Right.
And that um, in order to protect, you have to actually go create a problem,
Right.
which no matter how you look at it, is a little problematic. But cancer actually, like if you're dealing with someone with heavy cancer placements one on one,
Mhm.
that can kind of tend to be how
Their
someone,
MO. Right.
yeah, it
Yeah.
can kind of tend to be like, I'm going to lash out so that I don't get attacked. I'm going to attack you before I
You
can
can attack me.
become I before I can become vulnerable.
Right,
Right.
right, right.
And like I don't like this is and I'm and no shade to Cancer,
Right.
promise. But it's like um you know, I'm going to be defensive because I automatically assume that the knives are coming out for me and I don't want to deal with that. I'm too soft for that. So we're going to
Right.
put
I
up
need to
a
have the protective shell. I'm not gonna show you my underbelly, my soft underbelly. I'm gonna show you that protective shell
exactly,
first. Yeah.
exactly, just like a cat.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of like right now, Cancer is evening star. So that is much more passive.
Mhm.
It's not going to be quite as aggressive. And as soon as when was I can't remember exactly when the Kazemi was, but I do remember thinking when Cancer or when Venus Kazemi'd, I was like, well, this should probably settle things down a
Mhm.
little bit
Mhm.
because if Venus is being more passive, then she's not going to be on the offense so much.
Right.
She's not going to be lashing out and trying to distract quite as much.
Mhm.
So,
And I think we've seen that. I mean, I'm reluctant like, I'm not trying to paint a positive picture of what's going on in relation to those wars, but I do think we have seen that since Venus entered Cancer.
yeah.
We have seen less of the, like, Neptune had just entered Aries, like, and we were knee deep kinda in the beginnings of the Iran war, and so it was like everything the messages around it were really hazy, like, "What? We don't know." And then they kinda clarified, "Oh, no, it's because we don't want Iran to have a weapon, a nuclear weapon." And we haven't been as on that offense, I think, since May 18th. And there's been peace talks, they're not
Mhm,
really leading to anything. But to your point, yeah, I think we have seen things kind of soften in the best way that they are
mhm.
too.
I think the Cancer is associated with the fourth house. Fourth
Mhm.
house is your house of home. It's a house of home land.
Right.
So since I
And
think our
patriotism. It's very
exactly
patriotic.
very patriotic, and this country loves Cancer,
Oh, yeah.
loves Cancer.
Mhm.
Will vote for someone with very heavy
Oh, yeah.
Cancer energy in their chart.
Mm.
Um, but with when you've got that idea of home and that idea of security and the idea of safety and wanting to protect it,
Mhm.
um, I feel like it can also like it's it's ruled by the moon, right? And so it's transient, and our attention has a tendency to
Wax and wane.
flutter. Exactly. So with Venus moving into Cancer,
Mhm.
it's almost like in starting this conjunction, it's
Mhm.
almost kind of like more people started waking up
Mhm.
to, hey, the call's coming from inside the house.
Right. Right. No, and I think, and the US, according to the Sibley chart, has Jupiter in Cancer, right? Natally in the US chart. Aren't we Jupiter in Cancer?
I think you're right.
Yeah. Well,
I
we're
want to say
going
it's
through
eighth
our
house.
our
You know,
Jupiter return, and we're going through growing pains, you know, and I think it's in the 8th house. So, like, Cancer is in the 8th house of the United States chart, and
yeah,
so we're
it's
going
tough.
through these, growing pains in our collaborations, those uncomfortable kind of, like, resources that we share with other countries and how we are also perceived by other countries, what they're getting from us, what we're getting from them.
Yeah, and
It's
it's
not like this
always
like, we know why it's happening, we know it's the person in charge, so it's not like, "Oh,
right.
there's no reason for this."
And I've always thought it was really interesting because the big thing about this country since its inception has always been defense
Right.
and things like NATO
Mhm.
and how we show up uh, and make deals up until last year
Mhm.
um, with things like USAID
Right. Mhm.
because that is other countries' resources. That is, I mean, even though they're not giving us anything, we are acknowledging that we are merging our stuff with them.
And
And it's as a form of defense.
we're doing it also in a way to it's so 8th house because it is on the defense. It is, like, somewhat PR related.
Yeah,
It to
sure.
help the
It's
sort of
defending our interests.
right, but it also provided care and nurturing and all of that for people around the world.
Yeah, nursing, and then you get into stuff like the hantavirus and Ebola right now.
Right.
And if USAID was still in full blown mode the way that it should be,
Mhm.
this would potentially be under control. But and it's because of that nursing mothering vibe
Right,
that comes along with it.
right. And so, going back to this conjunction, it I have a lot have a lot of thoughts about looking at transits and expecting them to do something or expecting them to land in ways. We know that if we look at history or we look at what they've done in the past, we can kind of understand what to expect in the future. Um, and one of the things that kind of stuck out to me when I was looking at specifically the Venus Jupiter conjunction that happened last year, again, that was August 12th. And the biggest one that stuck out to me was the Washington, D.C. intervention. That's when Trump federalized the D.C. police force and deployed the National Guard. That's really speaking to everything that you just talked about
Yeah,
with that Cancer symbolism, the defensiveness, nation and the guard coming forth, but it was on its own city streets. So it was, again, local to our own country, and that was very I mean, that this word has been used so many times, but it's unprecedented, right?
quite long for precedented times.
Yeah, like, everything he does is unprecedented. But
Yeah,
that was the one that really was like, made me kinda raise an eyebrow and go, "Interesting." I'm not saying that that's gonna happen again by any stretch of the imagination. We we were talking about this on Thursday. I don't know if we wanna broach the subject of Trump. I kinda hate talking about him because he always gets so much press. Like,
I
I don't
know.
wanna give him time on this podcast, but, like, he has Venus in Cancer, he has Mercury in Cancer. Mercury just entered Cancer today. He has Saturn in Cancer, and this conjunction is really close to the
It's
Venus
on top of
it's on
his,
top of it.
yeah, it's conjunct his Venus.
Mhm. Do you wanna kinda elaborate on what you
So
consider
I've been
or
I've been kind of like trying to sit back and really look to see and try to understand how this might come together for him.
mhm.
Um,
I
the
just
way
had a
that
thought.
oh, go ahead.
Can I
Interrupt
finish?
me, please. Yeah.
Okay. In talking about, like, how you said the Cancer being on the defensive or on the offensive as a form of defensiveness, I'm gonna start this I'm gonna lash out. I'm gonna start this conflict. We had the Cancer full moon on January 3rd of this year, and that's when Trump went and got Maduro out of Venezuela. So very much this like, "Okay, I'm just gonna go steal somebody else's leader." There's a lot of things wrong with Venezuela, but, um, that was crossing a lot of lines.
Mhm.
The Iran conflict, and so I look at that Venus-Jupiter conjunction that happened in August as just another sort of example of that lashing out. I'm creating
Mhm.
conflict that isn't there because he was talking about, like, "Oh, there's so much crime in the city," and there wasn't.
It's really interesting that you mentioned that too, because it was just like literally right now that I put together that, you know what else Venus is connected with is obviously Taurus through
Right,
rulership,
right.
but it's Taurus is oil,
Mhm.
and
Mm.
that is a protective quality, and saying that I I I don't know.
Right.
I don't know, but the way that this is played out astrologically, what I assumed was that, he's going in after Maduro to take control of Venezuela's oil so that when the Strait of Hormuz got shut down
Mhm.
with its conflict in Iran,
Mhm.
uh, oil prices weren't going to budge that much, but he didn't understand and still doesn't understand how the oil industry works.
Yeah.
So I was just watching Midas Touch before we got on here,
Mm.
and Ben Marsalis was saying something along the lines of like, as things stand right now,
Mhm.
things will not be figured out probably until like 2032
Oh,
when
really?
it comes to oil. And
Oh, how fascinating.
I know. Because when you think of the astrology,
Mhm.
it's like, oh,
Right.
we like there's definitely some stuff, and it feels very conflicting.
Well, can I point something to?
Yes,
Like you
tell
said,
me.
Taurus is oil, right? Chiron enters Taurus on June 19th.
Yeah.
And so this pain point that we have around this, natural resource in the earth is just going to get more pronounced. Like we've just gone through 8 years of Chiron and Aries. Hasn't it been that long? It's been about 8
Yes.
something. And we've seen how many wounds the leadership has inflicted on people. But also, I hate to use this phrase, but it popped up during that time, toxic masculinity, right? The uber macho, like, I'm just like, shut up and take it because this is what I want kind of,
Mhm.
and I love Aries. So this is not any sort of shade being thrown on Aries, but the Aries in mundane astrology has some of those negative expressions.
Mhm.
It's just we've seen just the effects of that, and so the fact that you bring that up with oil and that it is already happening, right? I think that's one of the things that it's really important to understand with astrology. It's not that these things happen because astrology makes them happen, but it's like you mentioned this
Oh,
in a
it is.
podcast. Yeah, like it's kind of just like a mirror to what is going on
Mhm.
because we still make decisions. Like, part of why, people might complain sometimes that forecasts were incorrect or somebody got this wrong, it's because there's a lot of different ways that we can interpret any one single transit because each sign is nuanced, each planetary archetype has a lot of nuance to it, and it's up to us to decide which story to tell, and
Exactly.
sometimes we're going into it thinking, "Oh, well, I want it to be this way," or, "I see this, and it might show up a little bit like that," or, but what I'm trying to say is that this stuff is already unfolding, and it's moving us towards, like, these leadership wounds, the fact that we have kind of unchecked leaders or really macho, that, like, really aggressive warmongering kind of energy out there. I know how much you love that word. Um, and it's moving us towards that, like, Chiron and Taurus, um, healing era where we're gonna be healing those wounds that
Mhm.
have to do with the earth, and that's connected also to
To
love.
Venus.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I I I don't know the dates off the top of my head, but that was actually something that I was looking at, because what's going to happen is Venus and Jupiter are going to meet up in Cancer,
Mhm.
and Jupiter is. It's almost like, I mean, it makes a lot of sense when you actually think about it in terms of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, because he is, just bear with me, okay?
Oh, come on, give it.
He's this big football player, right?
Right.
Macho, yeah, very. But he's all like, i- i- his image anyway. I don't know for
Mhm.
sure, but it's very like, I'll take care of you. Like, don't worry, I'll protect you.
Right.
And she's kind of like this little thing,
Mhm.
like, she's not. I wouldn't call her like super petite, but she's not as big as he is.
She's
And when you're,
daintier
yeah,
around him. Right.
dainty is a great word.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at the two of them together, it really is kind of like Jupiter next to Venus,
Right.
w- because you've got this big hulking thing
Mhm.
next to a little tiny thing, and the um the Jupiter in the exaltation is going to be even more protective
Right.
of something like that. And then after that, sort of the transit completes and Venus starts to move on.
Mhm.
Um, and moves into Leo.
And then goes towards
There's
this an opposition to Pluto.
yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be tricky. But when talking about Chiron, it's almost like we have an idea of what the dynamic is going to look like because it's got this big thing with this little thing, and then the little thing's going to go in and become a starlet.
Right.
And
Well, yeah, and that's
you
the
know,
other thing that, like, came to mind when we're talking about, like, if we're looking at Taylor Swift and, Travis Kelce as, archetypes of this.
mhm,
Because Taylor Swift, Jupiter-ruled Sagittarius, is who she has really magnified his presence in culture. I mean, he had a lot of
okay,
things.
observation.
I've never been a fan of him because 'cause I'm a Broncos fan. He plays for the Chiefs. We're arch enemies, but, uh, and there's been plenty of times where the Chiefs beat the Broncos, so, he could go suck it. But, he's a pretty impressive athlete in his own right, but it's only
Mhm,
that kind of, like, NFL manosphere, and she comes in and she's going to the games, suddenly Taylor Swift, and you have a lot more people watching his games because of her, and she's sort of
mhm,
expanding his sphere of influence, and so that's a brilliant way to think of this Venus-Jupiter conjunction is Jupiter is here to sort of expand Venus's desire, Venus's social justice, Venus's care, Venus's money, The other thing that happened on August 12th last year was there was a market surge. We had some positive inflation numbers, and those actually boosted hopes for Federal Reserve interest cut rates. And so that sent the S&P, kind of skyrocketing because there was just talk, okay, so maybe we're not gonna go into a recession, and so the stock market kinda had a little bit of a boom. And anytime, like,
interesting.
when I see Venus and Jupiter doing some kind of dance with each other, I always think of money because Jupiter
Mhm,
to me is like wealth, and then Venus is like money, this is what I have in my bank account right now, this isn't my
yeah.
you know? And so I could see that landing in that way in some regard. But going back to what we were saying with the Washington, DC, the National Guard actually being
Mhm,
on domestic soil, um, and also, like, ICE, what those events trigger for us are collective experiences or collective actionable care.
mhm,
Other people are like, "No, this isn't right. I'm gonna stand up for somebody. I'm gonna protect my home turf," if you will. Um,
the guy threw a sandwich.
yeah, I was just
How
thinking that
cancer is that?
the guy throwing the sandwich at the officers. Yeah,
Yeah, that's super cancer. Oh, I love that.
wow.
Um, and
'Cause it was just
going
like, "Get off our streets. Here's a hoagie in your face."
yeah, exactly.
They tried to arrest him and everything, like, they tried to
Yeah,
charge him with things. It's like, it's a sandwich. Like,
it's a Subway sandwich.
Limbies too, like, come on.
It'll kill you in a different way.
The
It
yoga bread.
yeah, exactly, it's the yoga mat bread. Um, but that the idea of going back to what you were saying about, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift,
Uh-huh.
that the Jupiter is buoyant,
Yeah,
and it no matter no matter how much flack either of them get,
right.
especially around football and her going to the games and everything, she
Mhm.
always bounces back.
Right, right.
It's like a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, I am not a fan of her music. I
No,
kind of, like, am not a fan at all.
no, me
Yet
neither.
here I am on a
Talking about her.
yeah,
Yeah.
talking about her
Mhm.
because she just doesn't go away.
Right. She's like
And y y yeah, in a lot of ways, yeah.
yeah.
So, I just I think like, I'm not gonna be able to get those archetypes out of my head with thinking of them from now on because that's kind of bananas.
Well, what's interesting too, I was watching Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, and his main story was on the pardons that Trump has issued since he took office in his second term. It's been thousands. Like, he's already issued
Yeah.
2,000 pardons, which is like an astronomical number compared to what normal presidents issue.
Mhm.
And it was really disheartening because it's like he's giving these out because people are giving him money, and he's letting criminals, like people who have committed crime or committed fraud or, stormed the Capitol on January 6th, he's letting them out just because they're either loyalists or they gave him money. And I was kind of thinking of like,
Right.
wonder if we're going to see anything like that happen around this Venus Jupiter conjunction, because it is, if we look at it like just at the astrology and we don't look at the name on the chart and we don't, look at how much we don't like this person, we can see that the astrology is landing for in an interesting way in his 12th house, and it involves his Venus, but it also involves Saturn.
Mhm.
And then on that same day, Mercury squares Saturn in Aries. So it's like there is something very expansive in regards to money, in regards to relationships, in regards to even potentially law, because Venus is the first part of that, and then Jupiter is law. And
Mhm.
and then Mercury's there, so there's something, either a news story or there's some sort of document or there's some sort of communication involved.
Mhm.
There's also a limit and kind of a potential, like, bubble burst with
Mhm.
Saturn being
Mhm.
like, no, I'm putting the right
Right.
pen through this."
Yeah. I don't know if you were able to catch the video that I posted this morning,
I
but
watched some of it, yeah.
yeah, it was a whole 10 minutes. So I don't
I was
think anyone not sitting through all of it, but piggybacking on something that I had written last night
Mhm.
and saying that, this transit is typically extremely benefic.
Yeah,
It's usually very,
yeah,
very,
right,
uh,
right, exactly, the slush fund.
good. Yeah, this slush fund, exactly, Marinol. Um, the but because of the way everything is configured,
Mhm,
and the like because of how Jupiter is going to end up under the beams of the sun
mhm,
during its exaltation,
mhm,
and then moving into Leo
mhm,
as if Jupiter Cazimi starts forming,
mhm.
he's going to lose a lot of protection.
Right.
And right now there's almost like, again, I'm not a doctor, I have no idea, but the way that I look at it is because it is 12th house, there is something protecting his
Secrets.
mental health and his
Mhm,
secrets.
mhm,
There's a mental state. So, and because it's Cancer, I just have to automatically assume that it's something to do with treatment, drugs, manageability. Mom is coming around and holding
Hair.
hands.
Right,
Yeah, there's some care going on behind the scenes that maybe he is not completely acknowledging.
right.
And with Venus coming in,
Mhm,
there's going to be kind of like I would almost like a sweetness
mm,
added to that.
yeah. Some
But
help, some, like, something working in his favor, kind of.
right, and I don't know if you follow Epistemic Crisis, but Epistemic Crisis is one of my favorite accounts across platforms right now.
Mm,
He's on Substack as Epistemic Crisis, and I think he's on TikTok just as Epistemic. But
okay.
he is a physical therapist with a PhD in his field. He says that in every video.
Oh,
And in one of them, you see Trump outside looking at the pillars,
mm,
which is very Venusian. We're looking at building, we're looking at aesthetics.
right.
But if you look right behind him, there is a woman, don't know who she is, wearing kind of like a almost trench coat looking thing and very comfortable shoes.
It's Carmen Sandiego. No.
And that's what I said too. That's exactly
Oh,
what I said. That
shit.
she looked like she was a hat away from Carmen Sandiego. But she legitimately looked like a home care nurse.
Oh, okay. Like someone
And
who comes and gives the doses and the shots and
yeah, and just make sure you don't fall over.
right,
Just make sure that you are doing stuff that you're supposed to be doing.
right.
you're not wandering.
Mhm. Well,
And
there's a lot of different things. There's a lot of different ways. Like the 12th house is one of my favorite houses in astrology, honestly, because I have placements there. So I've spent a really long time trying to understand that house because you read a lot of bad press about it. Like it's like, oh, it's the house of confinement. It's the house of self undoing. It's, it's the house of self sabotage. And it is.
mhm,
It's all of those things. But it's also the house of, like you said, mental health and the things that you aren't letting the public see. So, like we talked about this at the beginning. I'm not going to do a get ready with me video. I'm never going to let anybody watch me put on my makeup, right? Because that's something that is in my 12th house. I'm not putting it forward to the audience, right? And so the 12th house is that. It's also like projects that have yet to come to light. So anything that is in that incubation phase, anything that's in that like dark room, like the photo is still developing. When you were talking about the building and the aesthetics, I thought of the damn ballroom, right?
that's exactly it.
Because they are Venus and Jupiter are those benefics, right? They're really good planets. When you have any sort of transit involved with them, it tends to be pretty, I don't wanna say, like, positive, but it's not wholly negative, right?
Right,
They don't tend to, like, align with really unfortunate events. They tend
right.
to be like, "Oh, well, this is beneficial to me,"
Mhm.
um, or "Someone helped me out," or "Someone gave me a compliment." It can be something as simple as that. But because those 2 things are lining up with his chart, it does kinda give me, I don't wanna say give me pause, but it does make me kinda want to raise an eyebrow and go, "Well, so what in the behind the scenes stuff is gonna get some help? What sort of like, extra layer of protection is he gonna get before all this other stuff unfolds?" I saw something else about how he's already issued pardons to his, like, White House staff to, keep them from being put in jail for anything that they've done while in the White House, which is pretty telling. Like, oh, so we know that we've done corrupt, bad things, but because you've been loyal to me, I'll give you this, blank check for get out of jail free card thing before they even come for you,
Yeah, yeah.
because they just know that if and when the tides turn, I'm gonna offer you some protection. So I just wonder what protection or what help or what assistance he might be receiving. If
Mhm,
any, I mean, it might not
mhm.
be all that positive because it is involving his Saturn.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up too, because he has presidential immunity, right?
Right. Because of the
Through
Supreme Court.
through the Supreme Court,
Mhm,
Jupiter,
mhm. Yeah.
and Marino brought up the slush fund,
Yeah.
which money is going to
Money,
be going
big
from.
money, lots of money.
That's a lot of money,
I just said it like him, big money, huge money.
big,
Yep.
huge, so much money. I can't do that, but there's something that had recently happened with
Mhm.
that slush fund, and Marinol mentioned it, saying that it's out now.
Right.
Basically, what had happened as soon as this settlement
Mhm,
came through, um, I don't know, like the judge, her name was Kathleen Williams,
mhm,
and she was an Obama appointee in 2011,
mhm.
and I think that I had read that she had been like a public defender. So
Uh-huh.
I'm not really sure if something li I don't and no shade to Judge Williams, but it's like, I'm not sure if she knew what she was looking at or if she was not prepared to go toe to toe with DOJ in the way that she needed to.
Mhm.
Um, because so she dismisses the case without prejudice, I think it is, or
Uh-huh.
with prejudice. It can't be reopened, is
Mhm.
the bottom.
Right, like the whole
And then
IRS thing, him suing the IRS.
yeah, him suing himself.
Yeah, and it's
When
been
he was
re
suing when he was suing himself,
Mhm.
he was doing so in a personal capacity,
Not as the president.
not as the president.
Mhm.
So as the plaintiff, he was personal.
Right.
As the defendant, he was the president. And after this whole thing was settled,
Mhm.
uh, I think it was like 35 judges got together and filed an amicus motion, which is kind of like your bestie asking you to come out to coffee so that she can give you bad news and be like, "Hey, I really think you need to look at what you're doing."
Right.
It's amicus is friend of the court.
Mhm.
So
Uh-huh.
these 35, I know, these 35 judges get together, sign this amicus motion to tell Judge Williams,
Mhm.
"Hey, by the way, you may have dismissed this and you can't reopen it, but if you think that there was some fishiness going on and someone was trying to collude
Mhm.
to get one over on you,
Mhm.
you can reopen it."
Wow.
And so that's what she's looking at. And
Mhm.
I think with Mercury involved with this, with documents, with Mercury going into Cancer today,
Mhm.
and then being there until the end of August or the middle of
The middle,
August.
yeah, because it
All
stays
summer.
right,
Yeah,
right.
this is something that he is really, really, really going to have to look at. And he is really going to have to try to work behind the scenes. But again, it's hidden enemies, it's self undoing in the 12th house.
Right. And
So,
it's also like all of this started because someone leaked his tax documents. And so that's another sort of like 8th house, 12th house thing where it's like, you're not supposed to be looking at my private financial information here. And that's what he's all in an uproar about because they were like, well, there might be fraud.
right.
You only paid like it was something ridiculous, like $700 in taxes, like the
Yeah.
rest of us are paying a lot more than that, and
Mhm,
he only paid for 1 year, it was like $700.
mhm.
And,
Because he was able to claim so many losses through like Chicago or something.
right. And so it had to do with that. So either he was embarrassed that that was out because it's like, I don't want people to see that I lost money, or it was like, I don't want people to see my secrets. And he's outraged, and now they had that immunity thing too where the IRS can't even look into
He
anybody.
can't, they can't be audited. But
Yeah.
that's going to be part of this, what, because that was part of the settlement. That was part of the settlement that DOJ agreed to.
Mhm,
So that when Judge Williams goes to crack this one right open again,
mhm,
more than likely, what with the way that the astrology looks to me,
mhm.
I think this one's going to get called back. And I
In
think
in
that
which
it is,
direction? Like, how do you mean?
I think that she's going to say, you cheated. Like
Mhm,
you literally cheated. You're not allowed to do this.
mhm.
And both Republicans and Democrats have said that this is an impeachable offense.
Yeah.
So I really, and going, like I was doing a lot of projection earlier, going out into the midterms.
Uh-huh.
So I really, really think that he is in, it's going to be a long summer for our friend.
Oh, yeah. They
But it's the reason it's coming up though is that the Venus Jupiter conjunction is
Mhm.
coming together to kick it off.
Right.
It's money and uh, greed
Yeah.
coming together to meet law and
Mhm,
justice,
mhm.
and they're brushing off on each other.
Yeah,
That is not something that you can wash your hands of.
I'm trying to find on my calendar when Venus squares Pluto next, because that's kind of the thing, like, this is how we look at astrology, like, for those of you who are just interested in, how do I kinda track these transits a little better? So this is a conjunction. This is when Venus and Jupiter are as close as they can be, and so there's some sort of cycle starting here, or kinda maybe closing because it's at these later degrees, and as Venus and Jupiter move away from each other, they're gonna come into different positions in the sky that aren't gonna be as, um, helpful to one another. They're not gonna be as friendly. Venus will, like yeah, Venus is gonna square Jupiter next, right? Isn't that the next one that we have? Or is
Yeah, it'll be the opening square. And for any, just piggybacking off of what Camille was just saying. So once this seed moment happens, the opening square
Mhm.
is kind of like the first tension.
Yeah.
It's like the problems here.
Right.
How do we deal with this problem?
Right. And
And I'm
I
also trying to look it up.
I think my like, I have a picture in picture thing on my screen, so it's covering a certain square of my calendar. So I can't see certain dates, but Venus enters Scorpio in September. September 10th, Venus enters Scorpio. And Venus is going to station retrograde in Scorpio in October, right? Venus stations retrograde October 3rd. So it's gonna be,
And Jupiter being Leo by then.
mhm, mhm. And so I keep finding my Venus square Pluto transits. Maybe you can find it, Jenny. But it is gonna like to your point of this sort of seed planting moment. There is some sort of thing that I think will involve money. It could involve the courts. Not to be too predictive about it, but then Venus and Jupiter are going to become a lot more adversarial towards each other. They're not going to be so bosom.
Honeymoon's over.
Yeah, exactly. And so it points to a lot of tension, happening in that moment. And because, I mean, I hate to make everything about him because it's not. He makes everything about him, but it's just a fascinating, like, case study to look at, because this conjunction is happening in his 12th house. It is going to be kind of unseen and, something hidden from the public, at least right away. And, um Jenny, like, we had, like, a pre-meeting on Thursday about
Mhm,
the podcast, and I brought up the shadow docket, which is something that the Supreme Court has, and it's a way to kind of expedite court cases to the Supreme Court to get, um, a faster temporary ruling on something, and if you've been wondering, "Gosh, the Supreme Court has also been in the news a lot over the past year." And a lot of it has involved Trump and that Trump can do this or Trump can't do that. And most of it is he can. It's because of that shadow docket. It's because of
mhm.
expedited cases that Trump and the White House staff has sent over to the Supreme Court. We don't really know about it, right? It's the shadow docket. It's kind of unseen. It's not something that's super public knowledge until the Supreme Court makes a pronouncement about their ruling. And, I was just curious to see if anything pops up around that too, because Jupiter is law. Jupiter is, and it's in its exaltation. And so for him, it's, been a lot of beneficial stuff because he has kind of pals in the Supreme Court. It was a lot.
It is, but at the same time, it's just like I can't help but wonder
Mhm,
what's gonna happen with the Supreme Court
mhm.
after Jupiter leaves Cancer, because that buoyancy has been really protective around comfort,
Yeah,
and that's not gonna be there anymore.
right.
So
I've seen a
I
lot of, I've heard quite a number of Democratic people running for various office positions, for the midterms, saying that we need to put a term limit on these people. Like, they should not be in here for life, um, because of that kind of, um, comfort that you mentioned.
it's that, and it's also um, protecting defense.
Right,
Um, sitting on your hands because you can
right,
is really kind of like what that feels like to me.
mhm.
Um, yeah, it's
Well,
it,
I wanna talk more about, like, Jupiter and Leo, but let's talk about how we can kind of work with this astrology in our own
yes.
lives, and because I do think that it is, bountiful astrology. I do think, again, like, a little caveat is that nothing is going to just happen to us. I've spent so many years, like, before I was really working with astrology and understanding transits, I've spent so many years just expecting something to kind of like happen because I would look at the astrology and be like, it's lining up with something in my chart. And then I would just be really disappointed because I wouldn't do anything necessarily to like make the thing that I wanted to happen, or had unrealistic expectations about it happening like that.
Mhm.
So I don't want to imply that because this is really bountiful astrology that like it's going to automatically do something in your life, but I do think you can work with it for growing something, for like you think about planting a seed in the garden. You don't see the plant overnight,
Mhm.
right? Unless this is like a
Right.
Disney movie.
I think, I think, something to remember, to your point, is that Jupiter is the planet of opportunity.
Mhm,
The opportunities come to us. It is up to us to make the decision to chase them. And
right,
knowing things ahead of time
mhm,
means that you can recognize the opportunity for what it is
right,
and say, I might not feel ready, because ready is a feeling, it's not actual timing.
mhm,
I might not feel ready, but I trust the timing and I trust the astrology to not be lying to me. And so I'm going to go for this. And whatever happens, happens.
right, right,
And that is a really great way, I think, to look at this, because for me, Cancer is my 10th house.
mhm,
And so there is a lot of really great things happening for me career wise.
mhm,
Mercury is all about, talking and organizing your thoughts.
right,
And it just went into my 10th house today. On the other side,
mhm,
we've got, the money coming in. We've got really great opportunities. And sure enough, these things are actually coming to fruition for me
right,
because I have the wherewithal to look ahead and say, this timing looks like a really good place for me to start.
right,
Let's plan for this and build on that.
right,
And so that's what I did.
mhm,
Um, it is up to each and every one of us to understand where Cancer is in our chart and
mhm,
exactly how to work with that. So, because it was 10th house for me, it was career. It
mhm,
could have easily been fourth house.
mhm,
Fourth house is your house of home, your house of safety.
mhm.
And, maybe you got a new security system. Maybe you paid out for a new security system.
Mhm.
Fifth
Or
house,
like
maybe
you're
yeah,
scheduling something with your family and it's a moment like June 9th is a moment where you're having a big family gathering and everybody feels so good that they got to connect with one another again and it feels very like jubilant and like man, I just love these people. There's a lot of I think gratitude to work with this
yes.
astrology too.
Yeah.
That when you're sort of planting your seed or if you have something that you can schedule on that day, or if you're just gonna do something fun and that feels good, like emotionally feels good, that's a really great way to work with this astrology, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jenny, we can talk more about
It's
that.
okay.
But, like, having that sense of gratitude, like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so lucky to have these people in my life," or I
It
might
is totally a family reunion vibe.
or, like, I might have 2 friends, but I love these 2 friends, and we're gonna go out
Mhm.
and just have a good time together, and we're gonna be so, like, thankful for each
Mhm.
other, and setting that intention or planting that seed for, like, "Wow, I love this friendship, and I want us to grow even more," or, "I love this thing that I'm doing in my career, and I want it to grow big, far, and wide, and I know that it's not gonna be right now, but I just feel so good and grateful for it, and so that's gonna help kind of boost it, you know?
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
this astrology is happening right on my Chiron in Cancer,
Ooh,
and so it's like, I'm looking at it going, "It's a really good day for kinda, like, healing and getting over any of those wounds that I've been dealing with around my self-worth or around my family or around this stuff. And it's part of my birthday week. I celebrate my birthday for a whole week. And
no, happy happy early birthday.
thank you. And what we're planning on doing on June 9th, and we didn't really plan this around the astrology, they just have a free day at the Denver Botanic Gardens. And so it's like that's like one of my favorite places to go. You just walk around and look at all the beautiful plants and
Yeah.
just and it's like it's just a day to like go to another city and look at all the beautiful things there, and that to me is like, "Oh, I'm so grateful that I get to do that with my partner and that, that I live in a place that has this," and that kind of thing. Like, it's very local. I am gonna be planting seeds of other things, but I think it's gonna be, like, healing for me too.
Yeah. Yeah. Where's your moon at again?
My moon is in Pisces in the 8th house. Yeah. So I'm hoping for some money, but
Yeah. Give me
maybe
that
some,
money,
like,
honey.
long lost family member will be like, "Hey, here's a check. I saw you online. You're my kid."
I love that. Like, let's just real quick maybe go around the wheel and think about, um, so if Cancer is your first house,
Mhm.
what do you think we can expect here if you're Cancer rising?
So, I think it's a really lovely day to do something for you. Like, to do something that is like, "I'm gonna get a haircut. I'm gonna go do something that makes me feel beautiful. It makes me feel, like, loved. I love myself. I'm treating myself." Or if you are like, "Oh, but I don't wanna spend money, I wanna make money." It's a really good time to set an intention for that to be like, "I'm gonna call in more financial opportunities that are related to my identity." Like, if you are, like, a small business owner or something, where it's like, "This is me at a speaking event," or, like, I wanna call in more of that kind of creative stuff.
I love how your brain operates because for me, I was like, if I'm Cancer rising, I'm going to the bakery.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's treating yourself too, like, it's I'm
Yeah,
like, "Go buy clothes, get your
yeah.
haircut."
But Cancer. Cancer's that like we're eating for comfort. We're cooking, we're baking, we're
Oh my god.
we're finding comfort in the womanly things.
Like,
So
I'm going
maybe we're cleaning our house.
on
Maybe
my
you're doing spring
actual
cleaning.
birthday, I'm going to a bakery. I'm gonna go get some I'm going to Castle Rock. I'm driving to another city to try cake at this place, and I've been waiting a long time.
That is the best birthday present ever.
I'm like,
Like,
"I'm gonna get some red velvet cake at this place. It's vegan, it's gluten-free, I can eat it and not, like, have a weird reaction to it."
oh my god, sit in
So,
it. Like, just enjoy it.
I'm gonna just enjoy
Um,
it. But what
so
about you?
Cancer
Like,
in the second house.
money.
That feels very like retail therapy.
Oh, yeah.
That also feels like we're going to the bakery, but we're buying for the Cancer rising friend.
Well, okay, so my partner is a Gemini rising, so he has Cancer in his 2nd house. So he's already wincing at how many times he's gonna have to pull out his pocketbook for birthday week because he's gonna be oh god. No, but
He's gonna
also
be saving up.
he has kind of a yeah, that's what he's doing. He also has something on Monday
Mhm.
related to money, and so the way I'm looking at it is whatever is unfolding for you as a Gemini rising right now in regards to money, that June 9th might be a day where you get that check. "Oh, I finally got paid for the work that I did," or "I finally got that, the money that I was owed several months ago."
Or
Something
even if it's just recognition. Like, it doesn't have to necessarily be monetary. It could just be, "Hey, by the way, I really appreciate all the hard work that you've been doing, and, I
yeah,
want you to know that I see you and I hear you, and
right. Or like,
I
"This
think
was a
you're great."
great look, you did this project," or "You're working on this project," and someone is just, like, pouring on the love and the compliments for that thing that you've been working so hard on and caring for.
Yeah.
Okay, what about 3rd
Can
house?
Cancer in the third house, I feel like this is our gathering. Moon rejoices in the third house.
Mhm.
And this is if you have Moon in your third house or you have Cancer in your third house, you're probably really good at bringing people together.
Yeah.
And it feels very Mother Goosey to me.
Yeah.
Very like, uh, gather around, gather around you because I have news. Like, very like, let's sit down, let's tell a story, let's play cards and enjoy ourselves. It feels very community,
Yeah.
um very pridey
Yeah.
too,
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
we're celebrating that which we are, that what we have
Mhm.
and the people who are able to enjoy it. It's very bountiful
Right.
to me. What do you think?
Well, when I like, the 3rd house to me is that kinda stuff. It's like, "Oh, hey, I'm gonna go to a different coffee house today, or I'm gonna take a different route to work, and I'm gonna see what unfolds here," right? It's like those, like, bodegas that are around or that are kinda in
Yeah.
vicinity that you're like, "Oh my god, I didn't know they were doing this. I didn't know they were having a movie night, and I'm gonna get my gal pals, and we're all just gonna go and have a good time there, and maybe we'll get a little drunk, and we'll just, like, have some fun and, enjoy ourselves." I feel like it's very much that, but it could also be a good payoff. I'm always about the money, for
I
a
love that.
writing thing or a teaching thing or some sort of project within that, like, communication world that you've been working on, and, maybe you sell your book, or you are like, "Oh, I really am starting, a new novel," or, "I'm teaching little youngsters for this summer camp, and we kick off June 9th," and, something like that.
It's so cute.
Although that's
It does
a little bit more of the 5th house too, like kids and summer camp.
it does kind of feel youth pastory, like wholesome youth pastory.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
because like because it's water too.
Right.
Fourth house, I think that this is an opportunity. I think this is a good opportunity to clean your house.
Yeah.
And I think this is a really good opportunity, or have someone else clean it if you want to get a merry maiden,
Mhm.
and treat yourself to that. By all means, don't stop yourself.
Yeah.
But I also think that there might be some things that are worth exploring, because the fourth house I've noticed really tends to talk about quality of upbringing.
Mhm.
And if we have a real nice, soft place to land,
Mhm.
how
Oh,
has that affected other places in our
especially your
life?
career. Like
Mhm,
like, when you feel nurtured at home, when you feel like you can go home and it's like a place you can relax, you can be yourself, you feel safe, you feel secure, maybe you feel a little pampered. What effect does that have on your ability to show up at your job or in
mhm,
the whatever work that you do out in the, like, public? So that's
mhm.
great. So I think it's a really, again, a really good time to kinda, like, "I'm really grateful for my home," or, "I'm grateful for my family," or to do some gardening too. Cancer's got a green thumb. I don't, like other cancers do.
Yeah. My
I have a
I got Venus flytraps, and my green thumb friend Miranda was like, "You're gonna kill them." And I was like, "Well, we'll see." And she was right. They're very dead. I'm just mourning their passing.
Okay, so
Um,
5th house. 5th house is fun. Cancer Venus, like, finds its joy in the 5th house. Venus
yeah.
likes to be in the 5th house, so
Yeah, she does a good job in the 5th house, because that's where she can luxuriate, she can create, she
mhm,
can craft. So,
yeah.
if you are a knitter, this is a really great opportunity to, especially with Mercury coming in there, you're working with your hands.
Mm.
Um, this it's good foreplay too. It's good stuff for a night in.
Yeah, for romance. Like,
Yeah,
have, like, a night in with your boo, you know?
yeah.
Have a nice little bottle of wine or something, or have some decadent
Enjoy
s
the physical sensualities, the
yeah,
physical wealth.
uh-huh.
It feels it's very cuddly,
And,
and
like, very ego boosting.
yes, it's a really good opportunity to feel good about yourself, especially if you're femme, woman, assigned female birth, all of that stuff. If you have, or if you're a Venusian man
Mhm,
and you just want some recognition or um, attention in that way.
mhm.
That's it's coming.
Date night.
It's hardcore coming.
Great date night astrology. I
Yeah.
think also, like, you know, if for all of you who are watching, you're just like, I don't know if this stuff is happening. These are also things that you can set intentions for. If you're like, oh, I'm
Hmm.
single, but I want more love in my life, like June 9th, man, and you've got Cancer in your 5th house, even if you don't, I mean, set that intention. Like, that's something
Hmm.
that you can be like, I want more of this, more of like what you desire is
Hmm.
what. welcoming in there. 6th house, interesting one. I
If
like
you have
also,
health
like,
stuff,
expanding your what's that?
I said, if you have health stuff,
Yeah.
if you have health stuff, you might be getting some answers that you have been waiting for.
Mhm.
This and it should be beneficial. It should be benefic. There should be good things that are coming out of that, especially if it's well, I mean, cancer is very substantive.
Mhm.
It's food. It's still food. So even if it's like if you have digestive problems, even though it's not Virgo, or if you have anything that's been going on with chest or bodily fluids, things like that, the
Mhm.
chances are that you are going to be able to get that figured out
Right.
around June 9th. Even
I
if it's just
definitely
something like you have not edema, but it could be edema, but uh shit, never mind. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, I could see this being a good day to kinda, like maybe it's, like, celebrating the work that you do or doing some sort of charity-driven thing. I really like that for, Venus conjunct Jupiter in the 6th house, like, give something to charity, be of service to somebody that day, like, open the door for somebody as you're walking into your office or something, like,
Yeah,
those little small acts of sweet kindness.
I was just gonna say you can make this a day of random acts of kindness for yourself.
Yeah.
And it'll boost how you feel about yourself. It'll boost how, especially if you're a boss and you have subordinates and you have people that are supposed to look up to you,
Mhm.
that is a really good way to kind of like grease the wheel.
Yeah. Yeah, and to, again, like, express that gratitude and express that
Mhm,
sweetness. There another thing that Channy said in the podcast, I don't know if it was in the podcast or if it was in the, like, weekly reading she does, but it
mhm.
was like, even if we don't see this sweetness land in the world because the world is what it is, we can still generate it. We can still create it. We can be conduits for the Venusian sweetness and the Jupiter generosity. And so I
I
think in the 6th
I
house,
love that.
it's a great way to kinda be a conduit for it because
Mhm,
you'll be receiving that, back to you, whatever that
mhm.
you're giving freely, and you're just like, "I just love this," here you go.
I
It's a
feel
good
like
way to,
the
like, take care of yourself too, just, like, if you've worked all day or if you whatever it is that you've been busying yourself with,
yeah, bubble bath.
like, relax, like, do something that's just like, "Ah, my body loves this," I'm
Mhm,
taking a bath or I'm doing some yin yoga or something.
mhm. Um,
7th house.
seventh house contracts. Talk about your money.
Yeah,
This is
and,
big
like
time. y-
and
This
reach
is
out to the partnership that you want. If you I'm not just talking, like, romantic partnership. If you're like, "I want a literary agent," or "I want a talent agent," or "I want more people on my newsletter," I want more subscribers or something, like, the thing that you're desiring more of in your audience, like, one-on-one kind of thing,
mhm, mhm.
then really set that intention on June 9th.
Yeah. This
It was a really
is
good day to have that kind of, interaction with like, a positive interaction with an employer, with your boss, with your therapist too, you know?
I feel like, a really good day to dress for the part you want, dress for the job you want, and
Yeah,
not the job you have.
right.
Don't be surprised, if you're like a franchisee and people start coming in to do inspections and stuff. Be ready for that. This
Right.
is a really good opportunity to put your best foot forward. If you have a job interview that you can schedule it for June 9th.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
absolutely, or
because,
apply for some jobs on June 9th,
yeah, apply
like,
for jobs on June 9th.
really good day to be like, "Okay, I've been out of work, but I found this job that I really like. I don't know if I'm ready for it." Like, again, it's that readiness thing, like, have belief, have faith that this thing that you want,
Mhm,
you actually deserve and that you actually can have it and grow it.
mhm.
Kinda, you know, lay your
And
path.
I think, in that vein,
Uh-huh.
It's a really good opportunity to remember that Jupiter is protective.
Yeah.
It will protect
Mhm,
your seventh house if
mhm,
that's where it is. So if you are feeling like, oh, I'm not ready, is this for me? And you're diminishing yourself.
mhm.
But it's a really great opportunity. This is the time to say, fuck it,
Yeah,
Jupiter's got my back.
yeah, yeah,
So I'm going to go for it and just see what happens. The worst thing that anybody can say is no. And
right.
chances are, with Venus and Jupiter there, the worst thing that could happen is that you get good feedback, but you don't get the job,
Yeah,
or you don't get the promotion, or you don't get the client.
mhm,
It's possible that you are seeding something
mhm,
so that when we talk about that square later this year
mhm,
or early next year, whenever it is,
mhm,
we will be able to start reaping the benefits of what we're planting now.
right. And so this is for Miranda, because Miranda's been waiting patiently to hear about this conjunction in the 8th house.
She's Aries too, so you know she's probably throwing stuff.
She's probably like, "I'm gonna turn this damn podcast off." We appreciate your patience, Miranda. Um, I really like this conjunction for money. Like you mentioned inheritance, Miranda. Absolutely. Like this is the 8th house. It's inheritance, it's grants, it's contract work. It's, "Hey, do you wanna make this movie together? Hey, do you wanna make this album together? Hey, I know this person and I think we can grow something amazing together." Like anything that's involving joint finances, joint talents, but also just
Effort.
receiving the help or the talents or the money from somebody else. Like the 2nd house is like, okay, this is the work that I do for a living, but the 8th house is where you get paid. That's where the
Mhm,
employer is like, "All right, I'm depositing money into your account." That's the,
mhm.
like, fund transfer. And so I really do see that this being a, very lovely moment for anybody with 8th house Cancer placements. Oh, you have Jupiter in Cancer, Jennifer. Yeah, so it's like, again, I keep saying this, like, calling in more of what you desire in those joint relationships. Maybe you have, like, mortgage stuff, or maybe you have a new you're like, "I wanna find a new place to live, and I want the lease to be lower." It can be something that, like, really practical in that
Yeah.
where it's like, "But I
It's
want more. I want."
it is asking for what you want,
Yeah.
because if you have Cancer 8th house and this conjunction is forming in your 8th house,
Mhm.
people are not going to say no to you.
Yeah. So ask.
Ask for what you want. If you need money, ask for it.
Mhm.
If you need help, ask for it. If you're not good at either one of those, get over it, because they're
Ask for
not going to
help.
say no.
Ask someone like, "How do I do this? How do I ask for
Yeah.
a raise?" Like, I think, like, the 8th house is also that mental health stuff, and it's where we deal with, like, emotional crises and transformations, and we
Vulnerability there can be really hard.
it can be, and so when we acknowledge the fact that we feel a little like, I don't know, I want this thing, but I don't know if I deserve it, like, we've gotta work with that. We've gotta
Mhm.
mine those depths because there is a lot of gold there, and you've gotta ask for that gold, and you've gotta cultivate, like you said, the self-belief or
Mhm.
just the trust that
Mhm.
somebody's got my back in
Yeah,
this, okay?
because going back to thinking about how Cancer operates when it's feeling vulnerable.
Mhm,
Cancer doesn't automatic like, forget any planets in the sign.
mhm,
Cancer doesn't automatically just become stoic. It retreats.
yeah,
It has to go away so
mhm,
that it can think about how best to handle this. And it's usually doing that with a snack and a blanket
yeah.
and a juice box. But it has to do it. It has to process the emotions of it
Mhm.
before it can move forward.
And
So
I was also, like, thinking I wrote about this in my Mercury in Cancer, forecast where we think about that Cancer glyph, like, everyone says it's like the 69 thing. It's
yeah,
that symbiosis that and I think we see it beautifully in the 8th house where it's like, "Hey, you have what I need. I have what you need. Why don't we join forces and do this thing together?"
mhm,
Or like, "This job has the security I'm looking for. It has the healthcare. It has the 401(k) plan, and I have the skills. I have the aptitude. I have the experience. I'm gonna apply." Or, "This is
yeah,
the day that I'm really scheduling this job interview." And to Miranda's point, like, your mom's inheritance, I it's like, could we get more Venus meeting Jupiter in the 8th house in Cancer? You know, like, are you receiving that, um, thing that's from your mom? You know, kinda you can kinda think of it as, like, your mom from the other side being like, "Here you go. You know, I'm blessing you." 'Cause that's another
Mhm.
element of these 2 coming together. It's like, you know, how can you bless this part of your life? Or how can you be more open to receive some help or some blessings here
Mhm.
in the 9th house?
Ninth house, I think of, I'm not gonna lie, I think of medical school. I'm, like, stuck on medical school. I
Since you
think
had a blood test.
it was, yeah, I had 4 bottles of blood taken, and now I'm just like, I the phlebotomist. Um, I think, it's a good time. It's study, it's
Yeah,
ethics, it's philosophy, uh,
and
jurisprudence,
publishing too. To me, I see a lot of
publishing. Yeah,
publishing here.
yeah,
Like, if you are, like, wanting to do a blog or you're wanting to write a book, like this let's say you don't even have the book written, but you're like, "I really wanna write a novel." And, like, June 9th is the day where you're like, "I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm gonna foster my relationship to this publishing dream because it's what I desire, and I'm gonna commit to it. Because Venus in Cancer likes to commit, right? It's in it for the long haul. This is like, you know, put a ring on it right away.
yeah, yeah.
Put a ring on whatever it is that you want here, but it doesn't have to be a novel thing, it can be learning, it can be medical school.
It's
You
medical
just
school.
you
Going
just
to nursing school.
you're like, "It's medical school."
That's what it is. Everyone's going to medical school.
Yeah, higher education, right? It could be
Yeah,
something like, I got the grant money for my, you know, master's program that I'm starting in the fall, you know, it could be
yeah.
something like that.
Pastry chef. Going to
I'm
school
going
for
to
to be a pastry.
France to be
Yeah,
gotta
yeah. I
color.
mean, it is long distance travel. So, if you have overseas travel planned, this is a great time to do it. If you have a nice vacation plan, if you're going on a cruise,
Yep.
because Cancer is water.
Mhm, mhm.
Um,
Don't go on a cruise. Not right now, please.
yeah, don't do the Hantavirus cruise.
Yeah.
But if you have a boat and you want to go boating that day, it's a great day for that.
I can't
Um,
even tell you how much my partner's
especially with
trying to
friends.
get me on a kayak. Like, he's just been like, "Let's go on a kayak," and I'm just like, "No." But he's trying to convince me, and I'm resisting because I think he's gonna be right, that I'm gonna be like, "Kayaking is so fun," or "Canoeing is so fun," you know?
Yeah,
Like, I'm just
this
sitting
way.
on the
This is the
water.
way to do it.
Yeah.
Um,
10th house, we did kinda talk about it. It's this is another career thing, like, whatever career hope you have right now. I know a lot of us are kinda out of work or we're struggling here. It's another, like, I'm gonna apply for the job, I wanna schedule a job interview, or I'm gonna, like if we're going out there, if we're going really out there, I'm putting my business out there, like, I'm doing my small business, here I am world,
yeah,
like,
shameless
I'm
self
now
promotion.
posting my pastry chef videos on TikTok.
I
That's a
think
little more 11th house, but
as something as someone who has Cancer in 10th house, I think a really good thing to bear in mind here is how to protect your energy.
mhm,
Because when this switch gets turned on, all of a sudden you are the nurturer. You are the person that the friends, the kids, the coworkers, everyone is coming
yeah.
to emotionally bring themselves out.
And that's
You're getting
doubly
the support.
true that's doubly true if you don't have a traditional, like, job, 9 to 5,
Right.
whatever, but you are a caretaker or you're a
Right.
grandmother. And it's like, you know, then all of that is really in the spotlight because that's, like, your public role.
Yeah. You're going to be making cookies.
Yeah.
You're going to be the one that's offering advice. So I would really be careful if you are Libra rising and you have Cancer in the 10th house.
Mhm.
Be very careful about where you're spending your energy and who you're spending it on, because just because someone shows up at your door doesn't mean you have to open it.
That's true. But Venus is Libra's chart ruler. So I do like or Venus is Libra's planetary ruler, excuse me. And I do like this for receiving a lot for Libra risings. Like June 9th, really good day to not like put that boundary out there where you're not always giving, 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 giving. you're being like, "No, people are giving me compliments. People are loving my work," like, I really like
I appreciate you calling me out.
like, I like that for Libra rising. And then, the Venus-Jupiter conjunction in the 11th house. I love this
Let's
astrology.
have a party.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, the 11th house, Jupiter is really, really, really lucky in the 11th house because it's like, "Hey, I'm gonna help you find some good fortune through your contacts." And nowadays, we find those contacts through social media, through things like Substack. So I see it as being a really lovely, lavish day for your friend groups, for your I hate to say your social media, but for, like
Internet.
yeah, yeah.
Your
If you
internet won't go down that day.
Yeah, if you're part of an online community, it might be a really good time that you guys meet, maybe you have a Zoom call or something, or if you are the person who's steering the ship of that online community, really good day to, like, give something,
Mhm.
friends, if
Really
you
good day for activism.
Yes, 100%.
So if you have a cause or a um,
Yeah,
thing that you dedicate your time to, even if it's like a YMCA type thing, or you donate your time to regularly, even if it's not like a political activism thing, it's
right.
just
It's
food
just something
pantry.
that's, like, altruistic for your
Yeah,
community. Yeah.
it's a really good opportunity. So, like, if you've been waiting on a payment for this group, it's
Mhm,
possible that you are going to get paid that day.
mhm.
There will be some sort of really great big profit,
Right.
whether it's monetary or vibe wise.
Or you
But
might
it,
find the grant for that
yeah,
collective that you're a part of where you're like, "This would be perfect for us." Or you find
yeah.
maybe you're hiring somebody, and you're like, "This person is amazing." There's a lot of different ways, but I love the activism and, like, giving back energy of the 11th house. It's the
Mhm.
audience,
It
100%,
is. It
but it's
is.
like and it's like, here's my local community, and, "Hey, they happen to be having this bake sale. I'm gonna go to it. I'm gonna buy these little treats here because I know that it's going to a good cause," kinda.
Mhm. And again, that's the seed moment.
Mhm,
So if you do have Cancer in the 11th house and something really great does happen that day or around that day,
mhm.
keep an eye on it because you will be able to have that flourish at a later time.
Yeah.
Don't hold yourself back. This is not the time to sit on your laurels and hesitate. This
No,
is full steam ahead.
100%.
Yeah.
We've
Go get
talked
that
about
grant.
the 12th house, but I think if you're this is another one of those days, like, if you're a Leo rising, take some time for you, please.
Yeah.
Like, pamper yourself. Do something that's like, "I'm not on today. I'm not out there." Or maybe I was a little bit in the morning, but, now I'm, like, shutting the door. I'm gonna read a book for several hours.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do something that feels very indulgent, that's just for me, and I have some alone time, or I have an opportunity where I'm getting to luxuriate in some type of beauty. You could go to,
Mhm.
an art museum, you could go watch your favorite movie, like I said, I'm going to the botanic gardens, like, do something that's just like, "Oh, man, there's so many beautiful things out here, and I don't feel that I have to perform to enjoy them,"
Yeah.
is kinda my
This, I think, is a it might be a good reminder to not let people see you sweat.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong,
Mhm.
keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Because the reason being is that, again, this is the house of self undoing. It's the house of hidden enemies, sickness, loss,
Mhm.
all that, like, really no fun stuff.
Right.
So there is an opportunity here
Mhm.
without trying to sound dramatic. It's just for lack of better words that sabotage.
Yeah.
Someone could be setting you up for something just so that they can laugh at you, just so that they can make fun of you. And I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. I'm saying that if something goes wrong, let
Mhm.
it roll off your back.
That's true.
Don't let them see you sweat. Don't give anyone the emotional outburst that they're looking for. Just say, this wasn't for me, and move on.
I have another thing to add, like, the other thing that I'm going to do to use this conjunction. It's in my 12th house. It's conjoining my Chiron. It's very close to my Venus, 4 degrees. I have been working diligently over the past year on my short film, right? Queens of Noise. I don't know if you've been able to watch it yet.
I haven't been able to watch it yet.
Enjoy it. You're gonna enjoy it, trust me. But, it hasn't been out yet, and we're, like, gonna be hearing back from festivals and things like that, and to me, any sort of creative project that you have in the incubation chamber, really good day for saying, "Okay, I want more funding for this thing. I want more of an audience for this thing. I want more of a plan for this thing." Like, I wanna see the direction that this project is heading in. I'm also writing a novel too, so it's like I have a lot of just sort of like, behind the scenes projects that I can really relate to. So if you're also Leo rising, nurturing whatever creative projects that you already have on the back burner that you feel is going to be the main event for the next year. Because once Jupiter enters Leo,
It's go time.
it is like, what do you want recognition for? What do you want visibility for? What are you ready to put into the spotlight?
And I think that's interesting that you mentioned that,
Mhm.
because in some forms of astrology, the 12th house is considered like a beginning and an end, but
Mhm.
it's a beginning. It's in some traditions consider it the gestation period of before your birth, the
Right. Like
quality
the
of your
bloom.
mother's pregnancy.
Right.
It's the womb. It's the cradle.
Mhm.
So whatever you see, whatever you feel called to, whatever you feel inspired by
Mhm.
during that, that's where to put your energy.
Yeah, I love that. Whatever, like, because you might stumble upon it. Let's say you go watch a movie
Mhm.
or you go to an art museum or whatever, you're, like, just kind of enjoying yourself at some point in that day. You might get that kind of spark of creative inspiration. "Oh, this is the thing that I really wanna grow. This
Yeah.
is the
It'll
movie I."
come out of nowhere because
Right,
it's 12th house.
yeah. But I think a lot of it's gonna come when you're, by yourself and you're allowing your imagination to just sort of roam and play and not again, push yourself to perform or as Jenny said, sweat over whatever
Mhm.
is happening out in the world with your
Yeah.
audience. Because it's one transit, right? All of this stuff is happening for Cancer, part of everybody's chart. But there's other stuff in the sky going on that have us kind of sped up or have us, like Uranus and Gemini is really what I'm thinking of, that there's a lot of things changing or you're wanting to do things and so I think with all of the houses, we're gonna benefit from some moment of pausing, appreciating what we have, saying, this is what I wanna grow more of," kinda thing. We can't have those moments if we're always just, and I say that as someone who's just perpetually over caffeinated, always, like, going, Yeah. I'm like, "Oh,
Always on the
why
move.
am I so disconnected from myself?" And I'm like, "Oh." That's me drinking, like, coffee and energy drinks, It's just like,
Yeah.
"Oh." So,
Just perpetually on the move.
yeah.
So
To
I
nowhere,
think,
like, where have I gone?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you black out because you're like,
Yeah.
where did my time go?
Yeah. So I hope this has been, an informative look and deep dive on the Venus-Jupiter conjunction.
I hope so.
I feel like it was. We really wanted to get it out, soon so that you had time to work with this and kinda, ponder what we're saying here and gives you enough time to look at June 9th and be like, "What am I doing that day?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also if you're new to astrology, or if you are not completely, if you're not intermediate yet, you can look at your chart. You can see where Cancer is showing up in your chart, at what house, and you can start getting the gears turning on,
Right.
okay, this is where I need to look. This is what I need to ponder or consider.
Right.
Um, Not that you will force anything into being,
Mhm.
but if you have an opportunity make itself available
Mhm.
in that sector and you notice that correlates with your chart, You
Mhm.
know that that's something that you can trust. You
Right.
don't have to hesitate. You can just go for it. And in my humble opinion, that's the benefit of astrology
Yeah.
is because astrology doesn't make things happen, you make things
Mhm.
happen.
You make
Astrology just gives us the heads up to say, hey, keep an eye out on this stuff coming around.
right. And
What do you have going on?
if you have any, Cancer or cardinal sign or even water sign placements at 25 degrees, but I'll even say as far as 20 to 29 degrees. 25 is where it's happening. It's gonna be there is something really, bountiful and
Mhm.
particularly personal for you. But if you have it like 20, 21, 22, I'll give it a 10-degree
Yeah.
orb, but the closest conjunction effect we're gonna get is if you have something at 25 degrees.
Mm,
Again, it's not that something's gonna happen, it's just that you can look at that planet in your chart and say, "Oh, okay, like, I wanna work more with this theme," or, "I am noticing this thing popping up in my life related to my healing or related to my self-worth," and things like that.
yeah, for sure. For sure.
I'm, like, half Irish, so I'm, like, terrible at goodbyes, like
Well, that I asked you, what do you have going on? You were talking about your career readings before. You have
Yes.
your short film. What else is
Yeah.
going on with you?
Yeah, so I just launched my career readings and the short film. We're going to launch another podcast episode about that. We've been trying to build community around it. If you are interested in the film, it's called Queens of Noise. We're on Substack and we're also on social media at Queens of Noise Film. And we're going to be writing. So we have a pilot script that we adapted into the short film script. And what we realized for the short film script is we really liked the energy and the characters kind of came about through our casting. And, the actors brought so much to that. And so we're going to be returning to the pilot script and rewriting that because our plan, our hope is to get it into a TV show. Like, we really
Yeah.
want this to be on TV because we feel very strongly about these 2 characters. It's a female music duo, and they, are trying to make their dreams come true, but they stumble upon a duffel bag of dirty cash and kinda get roped into some things that they weren't expecting. It's very like, Poker Face, if you're familiar with the Natasha Lyonne show on Peacock. It's very much Bill and Ted meets Big Lebowski, but with 2 very funny, very strong female leads. So,
I'm so excited. It's going to be
it's
so good.
really fun. I can't wait for you to watch it. But so we're
Yeah.
working on that, and like I said, I'm working on a novel, um, which is about astrology, and and then I'm working on, Cosmic Cannibal, and then I act, and in August, I'm gonna be doing, if anyone is familiar with the 48-hour film project, it's like it's a horrible thing. I don't know why anybody wants to make a film in 48 hours, but it's a challenge to write, shoot, and edit a film, a short film, a 7-minute short film in 48 hours, and I'm gonna be part of the team who's doing that in Colorado Springs, and my partner's gonna be the director of photography on that.
That
Really
sounds so fun. That actually
a
sounds
lot to do.
terrifying, but it sounds so fun.
It is fun when you aren't the one who's like, "Okay, I'm directing all of this." Like, you can
Yeah.
come in as a writer or you come in as, like, one of the talent, and you're like, "Alright, we're shooting this in, like, 12 hours, let's do this."
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of it.
I could totally be on board as far as like the writer, the brains behind it, everything else. I need a nap.
Yeah,
I need to sleep at some point here.
yeah.
For
What about you?
me, I have Jenny D Astrology. You can come see me. I'm also Jenny Two Hearts.
Mhm,
Jenny, the number 2 Hearts,
mhm.
everywhere online. My Substack is doing really well right now. I am number 87, rising in philosophy as of today. And
Nice.
then I know. And then TikTok is a really good place to find me too.
Mhm,
I went ahead and released my first video,
mhm.
my first 10-minute video talk about
You did a
Trump's solar
10-minute.
return
Yeah.
this morning.
Mhm.
and that was, you know, just dedicated to what he's got coming up over the course of the next couple of months and throughout the end of the year, really.
Mhm.
Um, and that is for paid subscribers.
Nice.
I will most likely be talking at length about that more in the coming weeks, but paid subscribers have access to it already. So, and I don't know, I have fun doing it. So
That's good.
go
That's
check it out.
what matters. Well, our plan
Mhm.
for this podcast for Astrology Said So is to do it weekly, correct?
Yes.
Yes. I think we are going to take we're gonna try to do it next week, even though I'm kinda, like, in and out of the city, I think.
Yeah. We're still kind of trying to get our bearings on everything,
Yeah.
um, so that we're not completely flying by the seat of our pants,
Yeah.
but also flying by the seat of our pants,
Mhm.
because that's just kind of the fun of it. It's astrology. It's supposed to be fun.
It is. It
Yeah.
is supposed to be fun. I feel
You
like
can
this is fun.
seriously. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. It's fun, it's informative, and it's good advice. It's just
Yeah.
good advice. So
And,
who said so? Astrology said so.
exactly. I was gonna say if so for those who are unfamiliar with me, I'm Camille. You can find me on social media at Cosmic Camille and Jenny, Jenny Two Hearts on social media. And yeah, I think that's it. I
I
think
think
that's
that was. Yeah.
yeah. Again, half Irish, so very bad at saying like, "All right,
I'm
you should hear
I,
my readings." Like I record readings and my poor clients, I'm just I'm like, "Well." So, yeah, and I'm like telling them all these things. A 20-minute reading is like 28 minutes long because if you
yeah.
right?
Pittsburgh is not Midwest, but we act like we're Midwest here. So our goodbyes usually last 20 to 30 minutes. So
Yeah.
so let's be brave
Okay.
and let's say thank you for everyone
Yeah.
who joined us.
Mhm.
We hope that you had fun. We hope that you tell your friends.
We hope
We
you
hope that you get involved and enjoy it and take something away from this.
yeah.
And also, we love you. Goodbye.
Yes. Yes. We love you. Good luck. Goodbye for now.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Enjoy the Venus Jupiter conjunction. Enjoy the Venus Jupiter conjunction.
And let us know how it goes. Yeah. Goodbye for now.